Okay.
All right.
That was a heavy show.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on here.
Heavy times.
We're living through times like we haven't seen before. But let me lighten it up a little bit just to start out. Here is I wanted to talk about the fact that I brought this up on a show a couple of weeks ago, is that I was looking for a new vehicle, and
I thought you bought that Jeep.
I did, but I didn't talk about it on the show. Thanks for blowing my surprise.
Yes, you did. We talked about that.
We talked about it one-on-one.
Really?
But yeah, we didn't. So, see, it's hard to get the show and our conversations
We don't
together.
talk one-on-one off the show that much. That's why.
We don't. Yeah, that's true. Because for this very reason, right? But yeah, I didn't get the truck.
I think we talked about it on the show. You showed us pictures and everything.
I did.
Yeah.
No, I showed that to you. I texted it to you.
Do you need to share the screen?
No, I'm not. I don't have pictures. I was just going to say that I got a Jeep and not a truck. And I really love it. It's a Jeep Cherokee, and I've really been enjoying it. I was driving that car, the 21-year-old Ford Taurus, that was still getting me places. It was a beautiful chariot for me for 2 decades.
Yeah.
But it sure is fun driving that Jeep around. I just got a tow hitch added to it. Nice. So I'm ready to throw my bike rack on the back of that. I got one of those, I think it's called Thule or something. One of those really cool bike racks.
It's not from the hitch though, but my bike rack is Thule. Yeah.
I like, and the reason I always had that bike rack where you attach it to the back of your car, but man,
same here.
It really scratches up the car, and then if you carry more than one bike, it kind of scratches up your bicycle as well. So I spent the money to get this Thule bike rack. I guess it was over a year ago. And boy, am I ever happy I have that. It's really the greatest, because if I travel with my bikes, that there's no way you're getting that off of my car. It locks into the hitch and everything. And I can lock my bikes. It has a locking mechanism, so I can lock my bicycles onto the rack.
That's great.
So if I stop for lunch or something, Anne-Marie and I stop for lunch, I don't have to be all paranoid looking out the window. Is my bike still there?
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Because I've had bikes disappear, boy, and that is a bad feeling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm very excited. I can't wait to start taking my bicycle places, and I'm hoping this weekend is going to be my first time out.
Great.
I wanted it to be this past weekend, but Barry, my landlord has been doing remodeling, so our kitchen just got demolished on Tuesday. And now they've got the new cabinets in there and everything. They haven't finished them yet, so I still don't have access to my kitchen. It is so all weekend, Anne-Marie and I busted our butts getting ready for this thing. I was so sore on Monday after Anne-Marie was like, "We're gonna have to work on this all weekend." This is on Friday. I'm like, "No, we're not. This is gonna be easy." She was right.
Oh my God.
I can't believe how much stuff.
Be hell. It really is.
It hasn't. I'm so tired of this. I mean, I am just so tired. I can't wait till this is over. And I mean, you got your regular life to live as well. And these contractors are in here. Here's another thing, is they are leaving the door open all the time, going in and out and everything. And I think I talked about this last week. We got these new mosquitoes here that they bite you from the knee down. So they let all these mosquitoes in. They are tearing me up every night now, and I can't find them. They fly so fast. Usually you can find
them. Tell them to keep the door closed.
I do. And then it just happens. It just happens. I can't watch the door all the time either.
No, you just got to. I guess you're not really their employer is the problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
True. Anyway, nice guys that are over here,
sure
and they're very talented in what they're doing. I mean, it's really amazing the transformation that we're seeing. We got a new island, and it's nice. Amazing. Well, it's a new island, and here's the thing: is we had this island where it was great having the island and all the storage in there, but if you needed to get something that was on the bottom shelf and it was way in the back, I would actually have to lay down on the ground and like reach way in there to try to find them. There's no lights in there. Now they put these new cabinets in there, and the drawers, they have drawers and they all slide out. So and they're big, so we could put pots and pans in there and everything. Nice. And then they made these cabinets on the wall just all the way to the ceiling, and
nice.
and they're all slide out drawers and everything. So it's like the kitchen of our dreams actually being put together. Kind of cool.
That sounds really good.
At the kitchens
same time,
are a big deal. This is such a pain. Well,
I thought they were doing
they did the bathrooms already, and those are done now. So this has been ongoing since the beginning of July.
God,
it has been like, I know you've done this kind of work yourself.
You know, kitchens are a bear. It's unbelievable, right? The bathroom is no big deal at all.
I remember when you were redoing your kitchen and bathroom,
tearing down ceilings
when you first moved in, and I came over to your house and all the stuff was all torn down, and I felt anxiety just walking through. You're like, oh dude, God, how are you going to put this back together?
I kind of felt like that. I was learning as I went along. Like now it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but at the time it's just like, drink a couple beers and grab that sledgehammer because you're going to start tearing this down.
Yeah, like you had no fear about it. At least seemingly, you were just like, "Oh, here it is," and I'd come in. "Oh, Barry, what did you do?"
It was so much anxiety, so much anxiety. I don't think I would do it over again.
No,
I don't.
Wow, that was quite a thing, man. That was quite a thing.
Yeah.
You did such a great job on it, though. Everything you redid over there seemed masterful.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice the way it's worked out at the moment, so that we have a rental house, and got my current renters are out of here at the end of the month, the 2nd, I think. And so I'm going over there. I got a hell of a September. So I'm going over there. I purposely blocked off 2 weeks because I got to repaint 2 sides of the house, which I'm going to do mostly myself, but I'm only going so high on a ladder now. I'm going to hire somebody else to do what I used to do.
Smart.
Yeah.
Really smart. Yeah.
So then on the 19th, my new runners come in, and I got to take Charlie, who I'm a little worried about because he didn't eat this morning and he's been tired. I'm a little worried about him. I'm going to check on him very soon. Taking him out to watch my mom's house for a week as she does her almost annual trip out to Birchwood, Wisconsin, where she grew up. And it's always been fun. I've done this many times and spend a week out there riding my bike a lot and checking out my old stomping grounds and stuff while I watch her dog and my dog. And so it's all cool, but I'm not going to be here in much of September at all, which is because I'm going to be at my house in UH doing the painting. And then from there, I'm going immediately to my mom's. So I was like telling Lisa, we got to just have some date nights or something while I'm in UH, because that's a long time. I like being here. I like I like doing, like I said, I like doing stuff with my hands, the change up, but when I'm in UH doing projects, I'm doing work during the day here, watching Charlie as well. It's frantic. Watching Charlie during this period is frantic.
I can only imagine. Yeah. It's like having a baby.
It is. He had me up from 2 to 3 a.m. Last night because he just all of a sudden got up and is like, "You got to go outside." He did. So I took him outside. He seemed to want to play more than anything, but I think that he ate some of the I hate it, but he eats on our landscaping a little bit, the plants. I think something didn't agree with him, is my theory.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I hope it's that simple.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Much of a pain in the ass as he is, God, I love that little guy. And he's not that little anymore. He got big. He's really getting that dorky. His legs got really long. And it's like we're trying to figure out, like, he looks like a Chesapeake Bay retriever mixed with something, and I think it's kangaroo. His hind legs, man, his hind legs, and he uses them all the time. So when I'm carrying him or something, or just playing with him, he's constantly pushing with his hind legs like a kangaroo out of a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
That's really funny. Hey, I told you, speaking of dogs, I told you about that little dog that broke his leg over next to my house, and so her name is Lola. and I saw her yesterday. I've seen her a few times since it happened. She's got a screw now in her leg, and you'd never know that even happened. She's like
right?
a
Already?
brand new dog. Yeah. And last time I saw her, she had the cone on.
Yeah.
And her owner, he was bummed out just because you know how depressing it is to see your dog in that cone.
Yes, and they look so sad.
Oh,
and they're so uncomfortable.
She looked depressed. Like she was just like down, you know. She came over to me like, oh, whatever, dude. You know, but now they found this it's like a little pillow that goes around her neck. So she's not in the cone. But she can't like bite at her leg or anything.
That's better though.
It's way better, and she seemed so much more happy and everything. Nice. And I came right. The thing is, I know that she remembers me because before all this happened, she would never come to me. But now when she sees me, she comes right over to me like, "Oh, you're the guy that
helped."
I was just really surprised when I picked her up and she had that broken leg that she was so like she knew I was helping her. I thought she was gonna bite me actually. I went over there. I'm like, do you want me to carry your dog into your house? She goes, yeah. And I'm thinking, oh no, she does want me to. That dog's gonna bite me.
No, you had every reason to think that because dogs are unpredictable in that kind of situation. They might be extremely protective of themselves.
Right. I mean, if you would have seen her leg, I mean, it was pretty bad looking. I don't want to talk about that. I'm not gonna go there, but I'm just saying that she had every reason to be like that, but she wasn't. And I sure do like that. I know it's a mutt, but boy, what I
love mutts. They're best. I got a mutt, so to speak.
Yeah, this is a nice. I love dogs, but boy, you know, you're right, Barry. When I think about like what you went through last night, that is just what happens when you have a dog. It's
gonna be a short period of time because he's already the transformations are happening rapidly where, you know, he doesn't have to go out to go pee as frequently.
Right.
It's less and less. Getting up in the middle of the night last night, that's very unusual now within the last week or two, where it was every night. Middle of the night.
So I got a story.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Stella, you know, she was prone to stomach issues, and you know, and that was our little girl, and so she'd sleep in our room, and she woke up. I always knew if she like had, sometimes she would get diarrhea or something like that, and she'd wake up in the middle of the night and she'd just start pacing, and I'd hear her tapping around, tick, 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 oh no! So I wake up and I'm like, okay, I got to get her out. This is like when I get out of bed, she bolts towards the door, you know. I'm like, oh, you know, I gotta get her out of here. And so so she had an accident before I could get her out of the house. It was terrible, but I got to get her.
They feel really bad about that too.
She did. Yeah. And so I get her over to, I don't have a yard, so I got to get her over to where the gas station is at the corner of my street. And we book up there. It's like 3:00 in the morning. And she's going to the bathroom there. And I'm like, hey, I think I got some of it on my hand. and I'm like, did I? Oh my God, Barry. I smelled my hand and I gagged so hard that I threw up right there. God, really? And I'm like up at the corner, I'm throwing up, and there's a guy at the gas station at 3:00, and I'm like, oh yeah. this guy is going, hey, he's trying to get my attention, and he goes, I can't remember the name that he used, but he goes, are you? And he throws a name at me, and I'm like, no, I'm not that guy.
Asking for your autograph,
just
basically.
Like him. And I'm like, yeah. So I go home, and the next morning I remember the guy's name. It was an NBA. He was one of the Lakers. He thought I was one of the Lakers, barfing at 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, who does this guy have a reputation for this? Or I look like a sports guy when I'm barfing? Should I be complimented by that?
Yeah.
It's just such a weird thing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You guys thinking about getting a dog anymore?
Oh, I always think about it. Here's the thing is that it's because of the house that we live in, and we don't have a yard, and Anne-Marie's pretty adamant that before we get another dog that we should have a yard. And yeah, that makes sense.
I kind of feel that way.
And the thing too is that, and I'm not really traveling right now, but when that starts back up again, and she's by herself and she's got to take the dog to the corner, and that corner isn't what it's not safe. Like, it was never like the safest thing, but now it's really not. So I would not want her to have to do that.
Yeah, we're looking at gates right now for the driveway. The entire backyard is fenced off except for the driveway. And my life is going to be a lot easier when we cross that hurdle. Now, Lisa, of course, had to want to go top of the line, wrought iron, fancy fence. We got a quote on that. $6 million. $6,000 without motorized. Okay. And wrought iron is so heavy that the motors on it would be so we decided we're going to start off with the fence. Both of us work from home now. We're not coming and going on a regular basis. There's lots of days we don't leave at all, and so we're going to start off with it not being operable, just hand, and if you do that with wrought iron, well, then you're probably looking like at another $10,000 in motors big enough to operate those big heavy things. So now
it's like a Lincoln Continental motor.
And I told her from the beginning we should be looking at the aluminum. And I know we can get a fancy looking black wrought iron looking aluminum fence. It's going to be really light. It'll probably be $2,000, if that. It'll be $2,000. And then to get motors to operate that, if we want, will be, not that much on top of that. So, so thank God we're finally getting realistic about it, but I need that damn gate so that, I can he'll go out there and eat all kinds of crap now that I think about it at the moment. But it'll be easier on me because he's in that phase now where he looks at me, goes around the corner and then makes a dash for it down the driveway. And I'm running after him like,
oh my gosh. It's funny. You were looking at a one of those electric fences before, right?
Oh, you mean the invisible fence?
Invisible, yeah.
Yeah, we were $2,500, and I just feel, and our dog trainer that we had come over, she backed me on this. She said the same thing I did. Hey, yeah, you could stop them from going out, but you can't stop anything from coming in.
That's right. That's
right.
I
feel and the more violent our society gets and around here, I think it's good for resale value of the house.
Yeah.
I really do. And I just feel better about it. Dog aside, having that gate. I mean, if you're going to spend virtually the same amount of money, why not, protect your house a little bit more in a time when we need it?
I agree with that. Out here, you really need a fence where I live because, and for
maybe some landmines too.
Well, here's the thing: is if you got a dog and you put them out there at night, we got coyotes, and they'll eat your dog, and it's pretty.
They're said to have been around here too.
Yeah, and I've gone on walks at night, and I'll see coyotes casually walking up the street, not just hey, there's a person. It's just
I'm shocked.
Hey, what's up, man? Wow. I'm like, holy cow! Anne Marie and I were walking, and she's very. She's not like a person with dogs that'll just be like, oh, let me pat that dog. She's like, whoa, there's a dog. But anyhow, here comes a big coyote right towards us. And she grabs hold of me. There's a dog coming. And I'm like, holy cow, that's a coyote.
Wow, they're supposed to be afraid of it.
Right past
but I heard, and it might have been from you, but I heard that the lockdown brought out some wildlife. Like now you even see a mountain lion once in a while because
that's happening out here. Yep.
Yeah. So because everybody's inside so much.
Yep.
Yeah, what's the state of things in that regard right now? Because Newsom's got to be trying to lighten up on everything at the moment, right? Isn't he?
It's hard to tell. I mean,
it's just probably killing him because he's still seeing this opportunity to be the Gestapo,
Well, and out here in Los Angeles County, everything is pretty tightened up again, with the mask mandates and everything here. So it seems oppressive here. I mean, when we take a look at that recall, going back to that again, I don't think that that's going to help him in that regard. Right. And we take a look at like what's happening in a couple other states too, like the one just north of us in Oregon. The governor there just made an outdoor mask mandate, whether you're vaccinated or not. That happens this week. And so everybody's got to be masked outdoors, not just indoors. And I don't know. It's
is it them or you guys that also have a huge smoke problem due to the forest fire?
I think it might be both of us. The air quality here in Los Angeles is said to be bad, but up at Lake Tahoe, I've been reading that.
Yes, I saw
a pretty huge fire. So that's the Reno area, right? They're like, they can't go outside. It's too smoky. The air quality is just awful there. They're very worried about that fire moving into that valley.
I think it was yesterday I saw a news report that like 2 hikers died. Like who the hell would be dumb enough to go on a strenuous hike when it's the worst air quality that it's like ever been in history?
Stupid.
Yeah. So,
but it's probably people that came out there on vacation and they're just like, darn it, this is the only time we have, and maybe that's what happened. But
could be.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. These things are very serious. But out here in California, I was just reading the New Times and this morning, and they were talking about this is all a result of global warming, and it's not. This is not all a result of global.
I don't think you can prove it.
Well, here's the thing: is two things. Environmentally, the environmental groups here in California shut down 2 things. One was the logging industry that we had here that was actually chopping down trees in a way that was preventing forest fires, and they also stopped the fire burns that we did on purpose because it was killing wildlife. As a result of those,
but it was actually saving wildlife. If they
in the grand picture, it was.
It always sounds good when you say the first sentence, but when you think it through with the reply, oh no, we can't. No, I feel better about myself if we do the face value thing.
That's what it is, right? Yeah. I mean, before this was the United States, the Indian tribes out here were doing the same thing. This is how you preserve the forests, and forest fires happen naturally, and there are ways to mitigate that. But here in California, we stopped doing that years ago, and now when the forest fires happen, it's very convenient to blame it on global warming, because global warming is a cash cow for California.
That's true.
And so when you blame it on that, somebody is actually enriching themselves, and that's really the story of California.
Hey, speaking of that, I forgot to mention this in the last episode, but Congressman who made millions in defense contracting seeking to relaunch the Afghan war. This is Florida Republican Michael Waltz made up to $25 million. Actually, I think it was 26 in a different article I read on this. $26 million from the sale of Metis Solutions, a defense contractor with a spotty record for training Afghan security forces. I have a link to that.
I think there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on in Congress.
God, yes.
I mean,
yes.
I was just thinking about, somebody was talking about Nancy Pelosi
Hell
this
yes.
week. And
I was just thinking of that.
Her husband is in finance.
Like it's like,
it's like, well, sure, he's in finance. He gets all the insider information.
Yeah, they invest $5,000 and they come out with $3 million.
Boom, I'm a millionaire again.
That, man. This guy's genius.
Buy more ice cream and a huge refrigerator.
Yeah, he needs to write books. Yeah.
I mean, think about how easy that would be and how much we don't regulate that. And they make a law that's going to impact a particular company. They know what's going to happen before it happens. They buy the stock. They become millionaires. That's part of why they're all millionaires. The other part is all the lobbyists that are paying them off.
That's it. And the structure of that, it's legal, right? Because of the structure that they have. It's shady, but it's all part of a process, a built-in process.
Think about it, Barry. This is why we have the corruption we have, because it's attracting those people. That's what's happening. I mean, if you've seen The Godfather and the political pull that the Dom had over politics and all the politicians he was meeting, maybe the mafia is not doing it as much as they were, but I mean, that kind of stuff is happening with businesses and the government all the time right now.
Well,
I mean, it's happening.
No better example. It's what I mean. I think everybody is corruptible. There'd be such a small percentage of people there. Look at when it came out about 2 years ago, Bernie Sanders. Comes out, he's a millionaire with the 3 different homes and all that. He didn't want anybody to know that.
Right.
AOC's been in politics for maybe 4 years, I think, or something. Right. And she's already got a luxury apartment in New York and in DC and a Tesla. And oh yeah.
And these are the most expensive places to live, by the way,
There you go. And I'll bet you she has herself convinced that she's not corrupted. That I'm sure everything's on the up and up.
Everyone else is corrupt, but not her.
It's legal. Everything, everything's legal.
Right. It's a shame. Hey, let me go back to something you were talking about earlier about your place, and you've got some new renters coming in. I saw something. Do you do that through Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay, so I saw something you may or may not know about, but it was a tagline that was coming like on the crawler at the bottom of the news, and it said that Airbnb had pledged to take in, I think it was 20,000 refugees from Afghanistan. Wow. And so when we saw that, we thought, wow, that's something. But wait a second, I thought about you, and I thought, how can Airbnb make that pledge? I mean, they don't own the properties. How do they do that?
No, I was thinking about during the height of COVID that they sent out stuff to us to say that they would help us out in some way if we wanted to house, if we wanted to also meet them halfway for housing, like nursing people coming in to help out hospitals with COVID. So it's they give incentive, and then we got to be on board with it voluntarily. So that's, I'm sure that, but I haven't read anything about that. I hadn't received
interesting.
Anything.
I was just curious how they could facilitate something like that, because I mean, I'm hearing now that it was like something like close to 100,000 people have been evacuated there, and eventually a lot of them. I've
been wondering it too, but it's funny you brought that up. I saw a message from Vito, my Airbnber from a year ago. This family came in over the summer from New York, and he's in town visiting family, because I asked him if he wanted to stay at my place again a few months ago. Hanging out on the street this evening with Nathan and Abby and Elizabeth. I'm going to go see him. I'm going to go see him tonight. I just got that message.
That's cool. That's
really cool. The best family ever. Oh my God. I've had some really good Airbnbers that I've become friends with. And there you go.
That's really cool. I love that. But there's a side benefit right there.
Yeah.
Really nice.
And this guy, he's so cool. So he's a drummer in a couple different bands. I forget the name of the bands, but the bummer for him was he said at the time, now his wife worked remotely as like a blogger for Microsoft, I think. So they had no problem moving. They just got the hell out of New York, just as the COVID lockdowns were starting to happen. He said, we saw the writing on the wall, but he was telling me, it was a bummer for me is if I'm not touring, I'm not making any money. And so he was just scheduled to do his biggest tour ever through Europe, and God, he was looking forward to that. And COVID hit and shut that down. So I can't wait to find out his stories, like how much he's back and all that. I can't wait to see him later.
I mean, think about all the bands that are out there that were devastated by COVID here. I've got there's a drummer that lives right across from me. I hear him practicing in his house all the time. How could we not? But man, what a gig these people have, as far as or lack of gigs, I guess. That this was a thing. Speaking of drummers, Charlie Watts from Rolling Stones dies at the ripe old age of 80. 80 doesn't seem that old to me anymore.
Doesn't, but it's a good time to go.
I guess. I don't have a lot to say about him, except for didn't seem like the typical rock and roll drummer to me. He always had that. Yeah, he always had that kind of, mellow look on his face, and he didn't seem like he was doing anything fancy back there.
Kind of like the drummer for Cheap Trick.
Yeah,
and they all had their own personas a little bit, and he looked like a card dealer.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
But man, I love that band. And
yeah,
so
my brother-in-law
held it together. Yeah,
my brother-in-law loves the Rolling Stones like almost as much as he loves Jesus. I mean, he's seen that band like probably every time he follows them all around the country and everything. He loves them, and he actually bought tickets to the Stones concert out here that they're coming in October. And so he's got 4 tickets. He says he wants Anne-Marie and I to go. He says, if you guys come with me, it's going to be the greatest day of my life.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, man. Okay. The greatest day of his life. I've been to a Stones concert in Cleveland at the old Municipal Stadium. And I got to say,
I bet that's a hell of a show.
Okay, it was back in 1990, and I thought Mick Jagger was old then.
Yeah,
and that guy is a ball of energy, man.
He is. He's super healthy.
How the heck could he do that for that long? And the show, I mean, they put on heck, I kind of like the Stones. They're okay,
Oh, I think
the show
terrific.
itself is amazing.
I bet
if you kind of like them, you'll love the show.
I bet. I have no doubt.
They bring
it. They're really unique. Like a cover band could never do them justice. They have a very unique blues flair to all of their music, and Mick Jagger's own voice and everything is super unique. Hey, you really froze up. Oh, okay, there you're back. On that note, dude, I really got to go. Wow.
Let's make it happen. Hey, this was a great couple hours. They go by so quickly.
Sure, man.
Unbelievable.
Really. Yeah.
Well, we covered a lot of ground
about next weekend.
Today.
I got some more stuff to show you next weekend. More mom celebration.
I just want to say this, Barry, and I want to just thank you and Lisa for such a thoughtful gift. I really think that I just want to hold this up again because this is just, I mean, amazing.
And, it is amazing. I have to say.
I feel like this should go back in my backdrop above.
I would love to see it, but
thing right there.
Lisa hit it on the head. She's like, Anne-Marie, we're not suggesting how you decorate, or because stuff doesn't. Who are we to say that goes with your decor? We don't know. That's why she said. But I bet it would look great in your garage above your Harley.
You know what? You're right about that. But I really think it would be great behind me, and I just love the whole concept of this with the stars being the bullet shells. The way that you described that, Barry, what a thoughtful gift, man. Thank you. Thank you to you and Lisa. Thank you so much. It
we
means
both
so much
just
to me.
saw you in it. By the way, Sagar.
That's flattering.
Sagar in his backdrop, I just saw the other day, has an American flag, looks a little like that, but a little more American flagish, whereas that one looks like really rustic. But it's so standing cool. Vertically, like it'd be right over your
right on
left shoulder. Yeah.
Dude, this is so classy. I love it.
I think it is too. I'm so glad.
It's touched my heart so much.
We got our flag stuff too. I just think it's the right time. It's the right time.
Me too.
We got Labor Day coming up a week, I think.
Thank you, brother. What a meaningful gift. Absolutely. I really appreciate it, man. Very, very kind.
I'm so glad. I knew that it would mean the same to you as it does to me. So yeah, really happy to give that to you. So,
thank you, Barry.
Oh, you're welcome, dude. I hate to say goodbye. I got to check on Charlie.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Have a good weekend, man. Love you.
You too.
Tell Anne-Marie I said hi.
All right, love you too, man. Bye now.